Hey guys, Mike from my private library. This is part 2 of 3 of my new comic haul videos. This one is just paperbacks and standard size hardcovers, not deluxe ones. And I got a decent sized pile here, so let's get started. First up, Ratcatcher by Andy Diggle, art by Victor Ibanez. This is another one of those Vertigo crime series which I've been enjoying. So yeah. I like the paperback versions. They're really small, easy to read, and this one's thin compared to the other ones I have, so hopefully it'll be really quick. And yeah, interesting premise, and I've been wanting to read some Andy Diggle. I think I have another one of his books somewhere on this pile. Next, volumes 1 through 3 of the Soulless manga, based on the series by Gail Carriger, and with art by Rem, R-E-M, I don't know. So basically, this is a series. I read her series first. It started off as a part of a class. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's a sort of steampunk Victorian setting with werewolves, vampires, supernatural stuff, and I really got a kick out of it. I read the first book for class, and then I wound up reading the other 4 books on my own, and I fell in love with it. It's a really great series, and so apparently they started turning them into a manga series, and the only thing is that they stopped after book 3, for I guess the artist was busy with other work, so there really are no plans to continue it, but they end book 3 on a kind of way to end off the series. So yeah, this is my first experience with manga, although I guess technically it's not strict manga, as in it's still read, left to right. Not right to left, but definitely, Eastern-inspired art, and it's kind of cool to see art given to the story that I like. It gives it a kind of, it's like reading it again, even though I've already read the books. So yeah, I was really glad that I picked these up, and it's a great series if you haven't. And now she's actually doing another part to the series. It's sort of a spin-off called Prudence. So yeah. Volume 3 of Uber by Kieran Gillen. I'm surprised they haven't come out with an oversized hardcover for this series yet. I thought there was one, but apparently it was just like a deluxe version of the first trade, so I was a little disappointed, because this is a series that would do very well with deluxe edition hardcovers. It's almost like East of West or Saga, where it's like, book 1, part 1, season 1. And I know the first 2 trades were the first year or first season, so who knows, if they come out with a deluxe version of it, I'll pick that up, but a very enjoyable series so far. Okay. BPRD, Plague of Frogs, Volume 1, the paperback. I picked this up, my friend Riley, over at the Omnibus Collector on YouTube and Tumblr. He just made a video highlighting this series for me, and I was really intrigued by it, so I was going to try to hunt down the hardcovers, but it appears that Volume 3 is out of print, and I didn't want to bother trying to track it down. And I was at the bookstore, and I noticed they had the first volume in paperback, and it is only $20. It's a standard-sized paperback, not oversized, but still it collects, I guess, 3 trades worth. So for $20, you really can't go wrong. And I guess there's 4 of these, or I know there's 3 now. I think the 4th one is coming out soonish. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Red Sonja, the Art of Blood and Fire. Basically, Red Sonja Volume 2 by Gail Simone. I picked up the first volume when I met Gail last year at Comic-Con, and it was my first experience with the character, and I really liked it, so I've been trying to find this for a while now, and I'm really glad that I did. This is a good series. If you like Gail Simone, I think you'll like this series. She's one of those authors that I really want to get into more of. I haven't had too much experience, but this is a good one so far. Okay, next, Incognito, Volume 1 by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. I was trying to find I guess they came out with the deluxe hardcover of this, but it looks like it's out of print. It was really pricey, so I guess I'm going to settle for the trades. And I think there's only one more. This, weirdly enough, doesn't have a number on it, but I've seen on in-stock trades there is a Volume 2. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect. And then in the same vein, I also got Criminal, Volume 1, the new paperback editions. The same thing, the hardcover was out of print, really expensive, so I decided, don't bother. They're coming out with these new versions of the paperback anyway, so good a time as any to jump on. I picked these up because I also grabbed Fatale. That'll be in the third video, but spoilers. I really want to get into Brubaker's more creator-owned stuff because that is basically exclusively what he's doing now. I know there's also a Velvet and the Fade Out, which I have to pick up. But yeah, I love his Scene of the Crime book, and I think these are sort of in the same vein as it. So I'm excited to read these. Okay. Trees by Warren Ellis. I guess this was a limited series, but there is supposedly a volume 2 coming. I just kind of picked this up on a whim. It was off 50% off on in-stock trades, and I do like Warren Ellis from Transmetropolitan, and I really haven't read too much else from him, but I was intrigued. You know, these alien structures land on the Earth, and they don't do anything for 10 years, and they really freak people out, and then finally they start doing stuff. I don't know, it sounded intriguing to me, so I just kind of picked it up, and it looks interesting. I think I got halfway through it, and then I stopped, so I have to restart that, but it was interesting from what I have read. Green Arrow, Year 1, by Andy Diggle and Jock. So I have 2 more Andy Diggle books. Yeah, this Riley I saw picked up a couple months ago in one of his haul videos, and I just recently started watching Arrow a couple months ago, and I really fell in love with it. So the only Green Arrow stuff I really have read is Kevin Smith's Quiver, and part of Mike Grell's, I read his Longbow Hunters, and I'm waiting for a lot of his run is being collected now in new paperbacks, so I definitely want to read some of that. And then in the fall, we're going to see Jeff Lemire's short run on it, collected in a deluxe hardcover. So I really want to read some more Green Arrow, and from what I've heard, this is a really good one. You have art from Jock, who did really good work on, I want to say the Black Mirror with Scott Snyder, but that might be wrong. So yeah, interesting. Okay. This is kind of Superman, or Action Comics The Black Ring, Volumes 1 and 2, by Paul Cornell. No real reason for grabbing. This is when I first started picking up comics. I started right towards the end of Blackest Night is when I really started buying single issues, and I was really into the Blackest Night, you know, the War of Colors, so I saw the cover with more Lex Luthor as the Orange Lantern, and I picked it up, and I started reading it, and then I kind of forgot about it. So I really just always wanted to kind of finish off where I started. So this is really just me being a bit of a completionist. And then I could always find one volume, but not the other, or it was always one was in hardcover, and the other one wasn't. And I'm still a little confused as why they couldn't just shove this into one big trade, because it's really not that much. But yeah, I've always just kind of been interested in seeing, okay, what happens after this? What happens in this run? So, grab that. 2 different books, but again in the same vein. Indestructible Hulk, Volume 4, Humanity Bomb, and Hulk, Volume 1, Banner DOA. This represents the end of Wade's work on the Hulk. I read the first 3 trades of Indestructible Hulk. That's really the only Hulk stuff I've read, and I liked it a lot. A cool new sort of sci-fi twist to him. And I guess this Hulk, Banner DOA is where he wraps up his run. And just really interested to see how it ends. Ideally, this would be a good size run for an omnibus, I think totaling, let's see, 20 issues between 1 to 4, and then 4 issues here. So 24 issues. It's about a maybe smaller than usual omnibus, but still a good one. And who knows, maybe one day. It would certainly... The one thing that kind of irked me about buying these trades is that Indestructible Hulk, the trades are ridiculously expensive. They're $19.99 for 5 issues. So that always kind of irked me a bit. And now this one's 4 issues and it's 13. So, I mean, that kind of makes up for it. But I'd rather honestly buy, rather than spending, you know, $80 on 4 trades, I'd rather spend $80 on one omnibus. So who knows, maybe in the future we'll see something like that. Because this was a really interesting series, and I'm glad to be finishing it up now. Okay. Let's see. Fist, The Return of Kunlun by various artists. I guess this is sort of all the independent stories that Iron Fist had going on throughout the years. He doesn't have too much. Let's see. There's one series, number 1 to 2, another one 1 to 3, another team up with Wolverine 1 to 4, 1 through 6. Yeah, that's about it. He doesn't have too many solo runs outside of the big Immortal Iron Fist that Fraction did. So I guess this is before that. And I really loved Fraction, Brubaker, and then Straczynski's run on Iron Fist, and I always wanted to read a little more. So I figured this will be a good information boost. We still have a little bit of time before the series comes out on Netflix. I think that's going to be 2016, maybe 17. But yeah, I figured, it'd be worth picking up and get a little more about Iron Fist knowledge. And Runaways, The Complete Collection, Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan. My last haul video, I talked about I got the Why the Last Man deluxe hardcovers, and, when I got them in, I was sort of flicking through, rereading them a little bit, and I remember, just how much I love that series. I really did. It is that good if you haven't read it. I recommend it to absolutely everyone. I recommend it to people who don't like comics because that's a good breaking in comic. Yeah, it's just so well written, a great story. And I realized I really haven't read anything else by Brian K. Vaughan. I did pick up the Saga deluxe hardcover a couple months ago, but I still haven't read it. And I really want to read more from him because Why the Last Man really kind of changed the way I read comics. So I was suggested Runaways, and then I was also suggested Ex Machina, which I still need to pick up. I know they're coming out with sort of deluxe trades for that series as well, so waiting to grab that. And then there's also his Swamp Thing run, and I think it was Mystique he had a little run on, which I'm interested by because I really haven't read too much of her character. So someday, when I have more money. Next, SpiderMan, The Death of Jean DeWolf, or Jean DeWolf. That's how Riley said it. Just kind of considered one of the seminal Spider-Man stories, a really good one. I don't have any knowledge of it, but something I'd like to read. I'm a fan. I didn't grow up reading comics, but some of the first stuff I grabbed was the Marvel Masterworks Spider-Man, so I am kind of a sucker for the older style like this, so I think I'm going to like this, and everyone says it is a great story. Okay. XMen Schism by Jason Aaron. I'm generally well-versed with what's going on in the Marvel Universe, even though I don't keep up. I try to read all the big events once they come out in trade, but this one I must have skipped over. I read House of M a while ago, and I guess this is shortly after that. And then there's a couple other events through Uncanny X-Men, I guess. And then the big event is Avengers vs. X-Men. So, yeah, I'm just reading this to get a little more background knowledge on what's going on in the X-Men world at this time. Because I do want to read a little more X-Men. And I do have a couple books coming up. So, yeah, this is just to keep myself well-read. Animal Man, The Meaning of Flesh. This is volume 5 by Tom Veitch, art by Steve Dillon. So this is the 5th volume, and I believe this entire thing is going to be finished up with volume 8 or 9. I want to say 8. So yeah, I'm slowly making my way through this post Morrison Animal Man, and it's definitely not Morrison stuff, but it is definitely weird, and it has a nice sci-fi twist to it. So I'm really I think Veitch's run is. I think he does everything from volumes 5 through 8. Or maybe it's Pew. I forget. Someone did a run almost as long as Morrison's. I think it was Veitch. So, yeah, interesting to see where it goes. I have a bunch of the single issues I picked up on a whim. And, taking a look at those, and they're really weird. So, it'll be interesting. Django Unchained. This is the graphic novel version of the movie, which I admittedly have not seen, but, yeah, sorry, I'm kind of a bad Tarantino fan. I don't think I've ever fully sat through one of his movies yet, but I will. And, once again, art by R.M. Guerra, who did the art on Scalped, which I have to read. And this is just one of those quirky little one-offs they said is actually a really good adaptation of the movie. So I guess I'll read this and watch the movie. But yeah, I just kind of picked it up on a whim. No real reason for it. Got a nice looking dust jacket, I gotta say. That's cool cover art. Very minimalist. It's a nice shade of red. 50 Shades of Red. And the last Diggle book, The Losers, Volume 1 of this, it doesn't say it, but this is sort of the complete collection. There's 2 of these. And I was kind of giving up hope on finding this. You know, I asked Riley if there would be a chance of another version of this, but this came out to coincide with the movie release back in 2010. So it looks like it's out of print on Amazon and in stock trades. It might be. You might be able to hunt it down somewhere, but I couldn't. And then I stumbled upon it in my local comic shop, and I snagged it instantly. So Volume 2 is still out there, and that collects the entire, I think, 24 or 28 issue run by Andy Diggle, with art from Jock. So the same creative team as the Green Arrow Year 1 book. And yeah, I just really wanted to read this. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I want to because, you know, Chris Evans. Sorry. The last paperback I have, Trillian by Jeff Lemire. Big fan of what Lemire does with his creator-owned stuff. The Underwater Welder is one of my all-time favorite books of all time. I really want to reread that again. So I just snagged this up on a whim. I really have no idea what it's about, but it's Jeff Lemire, and I trust him, and I like him. So I'm looking forward to reading this eventually. And then, let's see, 2 hardcovers, and I'm done. The Rocketeer, the complete collection, by Dave Stevens. Again, I picked this up with Django. That was sort of an impulsive day. No idea really why I grabbed it. I knew The Rocketeer was a comic, but I never actually read it, heard anything about it. It seems like one of those little smaller ones. I know, you know, they had the movie back in the 90s, which apparently sucked. But yeah, I just kind of grabbed it because it looked interesting. And, you know, whenever there's a complete collection of something, it's always nice. But yeah, it's a cool looking book. The art looks nice. Got this nice little cover art on it. So, I mean, got nothing else to do. And or if you are familiar with the story, I'm sure you like that. And now it's collected in one hardcover. Oh, there really is no price. Oh, there's the price. $30, which I guess is a little pricey. It's not too big, but a nice looking collection, and the art really is pretty. Okay, and last but not least, The Avengers, Under Siege by Roger Stern, art by Sal Buscema, in this Marvel Premiere Edition. This was really my white whale for a little while. Shortly before the first Avengers film was released, I think it was IGN did a list of the top 10 Avengers stories ever, or the Avengers runs, and I think this was I think this was top 3. It was 3 or 4. And ever since then, you know, before the movie, I really hadn't read anything about the Avengers, so I was kind of hunting down stuff to read. I still haven't read much, but it looked like this was out of print. You know, I always kept an eye out for it. Couldn't find it on Amazon, in-stock trades, Barnes & Noble. So I just kind of assumed it was out of print. I was never going to find it. This was my white whale for a little while. And then shortly after my friend Riley had his Good Things Happen to Those Who Wait moment, he found his version of Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, the Premiere Edition, which is very hard to find. The next day I walked into a random comic shop and I found this for cover price. So yeah, very glad to read this. From all accounts, it is supposed to be a very good Avengers story. Yeah, I'm just a little overwhelmed with how happy I am that I found it. So I get to read that soon. Okay, it looks like that is it for trades and hardcovers. I have one order coming in from In-Stock Trades that has my last deluxe hardcover and omnibus. So that should have me... I keep saying this should have me set for a while, and then I go out and buy more. So I'm going to say this should have me set for a while, but don't believe me, because in a couple weeks I'm sure there's going to be another video with other crap I bought. It's a cycle. So yeah, this is the second of 3 videos. Expect to see that third video sometime next week. In the meantime, if you have any questions or recommendations about these comics, let me know. Go check out the blog, myprivatelibrary.tumblr.com. or check out the YouTube, see my other videos. If you want me to do like a review or spotlight of one of these books, I'll do that because I've been looking for a book to do a spotlight review. And while you're at it, go check out my friend Riley. He's over at theomnibuscollector.tumblr.com, or you can search him up on YouTube, The Omnibus Collector. He's got a lot more videos. He goes a lot more in depth. He's ridiculous and awesome. Go check him out if you haven't already. See you guys next time.